And first at 6, there are questions surrounding Kimberly Kessler's transfer from the Nassau County Jail to Duval County Jail. Kessler was arrested May 17th, just days after Joleen Cummings went missing. Police named her a suspect in the case after surveillance video showed her parking Cummings' SUV at a Home Depot in Yulee.
And Kessler went on a hunger strike in the Nassau County Jail and told deputies she would only eat if she's transferred to another jail. Kessler was moved to the Duval County Jail on Monday night.
First Coast News reporter Janny Rodriguez spoke with a criminal justice expert about Kessler's possible motive. So, is there any, Janny?
Anthony, I spoke with criminologist Catherine Shadane, who told me this is pretty much unheard of and very unusual for just one inmate to go on a hunger strike.
This is very personal. It's not a typical hunger strike that I've ever heard of.
Catherine Shadane, a criminal justice professor at UNF, says in her 30 years of experience, a hunger strike is usually organized by a group of inmates, typically for political reasons. She believes Kimberly Kessler has a motive. Because
she wants out. She wants out of there. That's her motive. She's not comfortable. And I think that would be it. She just would feel safer probably in another location, maybe not as bothered by being in the same city where all this is taking place.
Kessler was named a suspect in the disappearance of her co-worker Joleen Cummings after surveillance video showed her dumping Cummings' SUV at a Home Depot. She was booked into the Nassau County Jail a month ago. On Monday night, the Nassau County Sheriff's Office transferred Kessler to the Duval County Jail because she has not eaten for more than a week.
But they certainly don't want an inmate that they have to force feed on their hands. That would be too extreme.
According to the Sheriff's Office, she told investigators she would eat if she was transferred somewhere else. Shadane believes it was the right move.
If they can make her more cooperative and by moving her, I think that makes sense.
Now, this is just Shadane's opinion. I did reach out to Sheriff Leeper with the Nassau County Sheriff's Office, but he could not comment any further on the case. This is an ongoing investigation, and we will be sure to bring you the latest updates once we have more. For now, reporting live downtown, I'm Janny Rodriguez, First Coast News, on your side.